Hey everybody, welcome to the Coach Rush Propst Show. Jeff Under with this guy right here, Jerry White. What's up, guy?
Well, we're just going to go straight into why everyone tuned in. It ain't for me. Coach
Oh,
Rush Pro, welcome.
Glad to be here, guys. I appreciate you having me each and every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. So
Hey, we're
glad to
just
be here.
we're just happy you're feeling better.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're a
I
little under the
love the
weather.
weather last week, and my team played like I felt. So,
jeez.
Well, hey, let's talk about that a little
Oh
bit
my
because
goodness.
sometimes a team just plays poorly, right? Regardless of
mhm.
talent, whatever happens, sometimes you just play poorly. But being able to dig deep and find a way to win, there's some positives in that.
Well, I think it's the head coach's responsibility to set the narrative um, on Sunday afternoon when you come in to view tape from Friday night, going
Mm,
forward. Well, I didn't do that. I didn't do a good job of that. I gave them Sunday off, and I felt like they needed some time off. We'd been through three gauntlets and
Yeah,
short week, and I just felt like we needed the 3 days off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and, to sort of rekindle and because we'd been through two bloodbaths and then
it's true.
go to Southeast on a short work week. So I sort of relaxed myself, which I think relaxed the team. They can tell, they can sense things, um, and so we just sort of slept walk all week long and practiced and then of course we get to Friday night. We didn't stay in a hotel and
mm,
trying to save some money and
Sure.
looking at the money factor of our situation at Coosa and then um, so save $1,000 here, $1,000 here, and you can do other things that you may need down the road. So I looked at that aspect of it, and then just things just started to unravel. As far as prior to so we go out in the game and we're trying to do things offensively that we're not very good at, that we need to be good at, and it just sort of steamrolled from that point on, And so, and the good thing is, I thought our defense played good enough. I don't think they played great, but I think they played way better in the offense. And I think Teddy had the defense ready to play for the most part. And you play some kids in places that we
mm.
usually don't have
Right.
some of our better players, so to speak. I guess they're better or not better now, but because he's going to play the best 11 that works that week. That's one thing to say about Teddy. He's going to play the 11 to give him most during the week.
Mm.
So him and Eric Albright both. Uh, they do. Anytime you hold somebody to nothing.
Oh yeah.
And let me say this: I think Faulkville is better than they were last year. I think
Sure.
South England is better than they were last year. Both coaches expressed that to me. We were meeting the other night. All the coaching staff was meeting Monday night, and we expressed that. We're not as good as we were last year right now. We're not as deep as they were last year. Um, you got a young 10th grade quarterback
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that's got us getting his fourth start. And, we put some things on him that's probably unfair to him. Uh, there's a lot of issues that contribute to how you play bad. And I'm not blaming him on any particular person or situation, but it's a conglomerate. It's just a collective things that you do during the course of the week can affect you so much on Friday night.
Right.
And it just all came tumbling down. And luckily, we played good enough to win 26 to nothing. but you got to give Falk a little credit. I
Yeah.
mean,
Sure.
they played hard and
Physical?
physical, a lot more physical than they have been in the past.
Yeah.
And then, of course, again, guys, we're trying to do things. And I said this on another interview earlier today. I think the issue, if you look at Texas Longhorns, and I talked to their co-OC on Sunday morning, I think, after their game with who were they play? No, they got Sam Houston, I think, this week. But they've played three pretty cream puff teams, okay, and there hadn't been scoring a lot of points. Well, it's just like he says, and I know Steve Sarkisian very well. They're trying to do some things. They know there's some things they can do that they're good at, but there's some things they're not good at that Arch
Sure.
Manning has not done yet.
Sure.
So they're trying to improve that part. They're trying to be left-handed as good as they are right-handed. And I think with that, they're not going to be as explosive. They don't look as good. And it's like he said in staff meeting on Sunday. He said that we've got to improve in our whole deal, and we can't worry about you know just going in there and taking our bread and butter and beating people 55-0.
Yeah.
Teams like that, we've got to go
Yeah.
beat them left-handed to see if it can improve us when we have to play Florida and Georgia and Texas A&M and all those kind of people. We're in the same situation. There's teams down the road that one particular night in the playoffs is going to say, you know what, you're not going to run the football. We're going to load this box up and dare you to throw. And if we hadn't been successful doing that,
Yeah.
then that's going to put us behind the eight ball. That's number one. Number two, I think the other issue is that when there's going to be some fourth down and goals somewhere, 4th and 5, 4th and 6, 4th and 4, and even 4th and 3. Are you going to line up and try to run the football in a situation like that? You better not, because you don't look real good. It's 4th and 5, and you run the football 4th and goal to 5, and you get 2 yards, 3 yards. So you got to give your team a chance to be successful. And Mac Long is a young quarterback growing.
Yeah.
And the maturity of him as we go forward will only get better. But we got to give him an opportunity. We can't let him just be a handoff quarterback and throw deep balls 4 times a game. I mean, that's just not what we need to do. So it's going to look a little ugly for a while, but eventually I think we'll improve in that manner. And it's these next 2 games are 2 completely different games from the whole different end of the spectrum.
Sure.
And you got to win them 2 different ways, and we need to try to win them 2 different ways to help us down the road.
Yeah.
One of the things that people are talking about right now, Coach, is Kusa's having to play 15 guys, 16 guys, right?
That's right.
Fatigue is a huge part of this. It's a physical game. Your guys are next level physical. They want to hit you in the mouth. They want to be involved in every play. They fly to the ball like nobody I've seen in a while. The last 3 years they've done that. Teddy has them geared up to do that kind of stuff. Have you had teams in the past that have had to play 15, 16, and how's that adjustment for you if you haven't?
1992 is the only one I can relate it to. When I was at Asheville, we had a 12-2 team and nearly won a state title. Got beaten in the semifinal by the state champions, like 21-19, 21-18. Could have won that game at Elba, but we played 17 kids that year, maybe 18 at times. Because I know when they come to the sideline, I'd have my quarterback, my wing back, one of my linemen, my receiver. So I had 4 or 5 guys, times 11. Yeah, we probably played 16 guys, I think 17 actually. And we had 25 kids. And I think we played 17 on most nights that were starters. And so we had a bunch of guys go both ways. And I think the tough part, what people don't realize, is this coming Friday night is the first week of no heat timeouts, unless they extend it. So you're going to lose 4 timeouts this Friday night. So now it's even going to be worse. So now you're going to lose those 4 2-minute timeouts. That's 8 minutes of rest during the game that you lose. So it's even going to be worse on us Friday night. So than it has been. So I think, nutrition. And I think what Mark and them had here and what I saw them play, and I was on the sideline state championship game in 23. I came over in 24, the 5 game. They those teams were playing 20 kids,
Mhm.
19 kids. I remember seeing Teddy under the tent with 6 players in the 5 game. He
Mhm.
had 6 kids that were playing the next series on defense, 5 sometimes, 6 sometimes. And then I saw Larry talking to John David and about 4 guys or 5 guys on offense. So they were able to get under the tent and make adjustments. Guess when our adjustments are?
Right.
Halftime.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's no adjustments
Right.
on the sideline. You're basically going from offense, defense, special teams. It's the craziest thing I've ever dealt with. I mean,
Yeah.
we get Mac over there. We used to get Maddox Gaines, the center. Now he's playing defense a little
Yes.
bit. So the only person that me and Larry can talk to is a quarterback. And so, I've never experienced that in my career.
And Mac's like, just put me in. I'm tired of talking. Put me in the game. I got safety.
He can handle it.
So there's no
That's funny.
need. So we had the most crucial time in the game for the Coosa football team is that 23 minutes, 20-minute halftime, 3-minute warm up period that you have to get in that dressing room, and you're going to spend 5 minutes of letting them calm down, hydrating and eating, 5 minutes of offense, 5 minutes of defense. Usually we go defense first, then offense. That gives me and Larry and Brian and my receiver coaches 10 good minutes to figure out what our issues are. Then we have 5 minutes to talk to our team. So now we're into the 15-minute mark. So now we got 5 minutes. And so the efficiency of halftime is what I don't think was real good other week. I think we were mad, and I think we got too emotional at halftime. And that started with me. And so that's got to change. We have to come in there and keep our mouth shut, be calm, regardless of how first house played out. Let's be calm. Let's get in there and figure some things out as a staff, while our support staff, which is very important, led by my wife, Josh Dodd, and several people, are getting in there and getting them things eat, drink, rest, hydrate, getting their core temperature down, and adding fuel back to their body for 5 solid minutes. We're doing that. Then from there, that changes, and they go to the defensive huddle for 5, then there for 5. Then we got 5 to bring it back together and say, okay, we're talking about 2 minutes of special teams. Now we got 3 minutes to sort of gather our thoughts and give them the narrative and the keys to winning the second half. That takes about 3 minutes. Boom, then you're out. Usually we live about 21 minutes into it, so you got 2 minutes to get on the field, warm up, and then get on the sideline. So that's sort of how the importance of halftime, and I think that is crucial for this football team going forward, that has to improve and continue to improve as we go forward.
Yeah.
I think that could be a huge key to winning.
Yeah. Hey, let me just a couple things about this past game. Then we'll wrap that up and move on to this week. Mac showed me an awful lot when he threw the interception and the way he chased that guy down. He didn't put his head down. He didn't give up. That's a dude.
His character is so high.
Yeah.
I've been around a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of good ones. Kids play for me, played in the NFL, starting quarterback in Alabama, starting quarterback at the Naval Academy. Several. I don't know if I've ever been around one, that he has a little bit of Ross Wilson in him, which played baseball at Alabama.
Yeah.
But he had that tenacity like Mac, and not that John Parker didn't either. But John Parker wouldn't run the guy down. He'd say defense, give me the ball back.
Yeah, that's funny.
But Ross would have. Ross would have ran him down. Jerry Bryant would have run him down. But I think Mac has high character. He has a high ceiling of I think expertise down the road. You got to think about this kid has a possible 41 games left in his career.
That's crazy to think
He
about.
could play 41 games in his career. That's 11 more this season. 15 as a junior, 15 as a senior. That's 41 more ball games.
Yeah.
That sample size then will tell you what he's meant to this program and where he goes forward.
Yeah.
But I think Mac, if he continues to grow, and gets a little bigger, stronger, and taller, I think he'll play college football at some level.
Sure.
Because he's really he can be a dual threat guy.
Sure.
I'm not asking him to do a dual threat right now as much, but when we get into crucial games, he's gonna have to be. like Pell City, he ran the ball
He
14
did.
times.
Yeah,
So
I cringed.
yeah, I do too. Hearing a 10th grader running
Yeah.
amongst the trees, but I think he's scared.
Oh, yeah.
I think where he gets frustrated some, and I saw it yesterday in practice, the first part of practice, is he's trying to impress too much and
Yeah.
trying to make too many plays. Just let the offense come to you, son. And after he got a little perturbed, I could see it in his eyes, and I calmed him down a little bit, and then he finished practice really good. And he's starting to understand. But let me say this, and Larry can tell you the same thing. He's learning things now about quarterback efficiency that we've added to the offense that can get him being a better quarterback.
Yeah.
And we've talked about here. It's so ironic that I talk about check downs and going to the fourth and fifth read or third read, whatever. Monday night, I get home about 10:30, 11 o'clock. About 11 o'clock when I pulled up the house. It was in the second half of the ball game, the NFL game. So we didn't come home at 9. So Justin Herbert was playing for the Chargers. In that second half alone, I bet he threw 7 checkdowns in crucial parts of that ball game. He threw one downfield for a touchdown, but he hit check down after check down after check down after check down. And I'm thinking, man, that could have been a better scenario for a teaching moment. And I think with that, and then for the fans out there to understand, I watched Tennessee open up against Georgia last Saturday. They snapped it 8 times on the first drive. They had 5 throws and 3 runs, and one was a cute run. And so conventional runs out of that first 8 scripted plays, there wasn't but one. So, and they looked efficient, went right down the field and scored. That's what we got to be able to do is we've got to be able to stay on script, be efficient with script, understand the offensive check down system in a throw game, and then we sort of get that all done and give them a multitude of things to look at, to the other teams to have to defend, because you only have so much time to work against what we do.
Sure.
So if you got a huge database of things, it's hard for that defense just to hone in on. They're good at this.
Yeah.
Now we line them and just run ISO strong at them all the time. Eventually, somebody's going to stack that gap right there and say, you know what, you're not running ISO strong. I'm just using that for an example. So those are things that we just got to get better. We know where our bread and butter is, and without me saying it too much, we know what our bread and butter is, and we know, and I think we showed that other night at the end of the game.
Sure.
But let's get more bread in the oven.
There's before we move to Susan Moore, right there.
And a lot more butter.
Yeah, a lot more butter. You were talking about milk just a minute ago.
Yeah,
he said
right.
that sugary. What'd you call it?
Sweet milk, babe.
The sweet milk, sugar.
Some people don't even know what that is.
These young bucks.
Me?
Not you.
I'm like, hey, why you say it like that?
No, I'm saying no. I say that player that says sweet milk, and he's looking at me funny. I'm lactose tolerant. I'm lactose. What in the world? I coached 30 years. I've never heard one player say I'm lactose intolerant. Now it seems like 1 out of 3.
Jerry is, but he would never say that to Coach Farmer or Coach Glover.
God, no.
Yeah, they slap you
ever. You're a perfectionist. Everybody knows that, and that's a good thing, right? As a coach, you got to be. As a person, really, as a leader, you need to be. Don't want to highlight anybody, and you can, you're the coach, but a lot of mistakes this past week. What are the adjustments that you've worked on to rectify those things, and just kind of where did you see those come from? They just out of nowhere, or is it something y'all haven't worked on? Or
no, I think I think I answered that question a few minutes ago. I think it's because we're trying to be left-handed.
Gotcha.
And trying to be diversified and do different things. We're in an experimental mode. So when you're like I said about Sarkisian and them, they're in experimental mode, because I know AJ pretty good. He was at Alabama, and
AJ Milwee, you're talking
about. Yeah, AJ Milwee, when he was at Alabama. We talked. I think we're in experimental mode. I think Texas is in experimental mode. I think a lot of teams are. Obviously, Alabama don't know how to run the football right now.
That's a fact.
I mean, seriously.
But the quarterback's efficient.
Yeah, but they can't run the ball. So the problem is, so red lights are going off in Tuscaloosa 2 weeks from now. There's a ball game, pretty big one over in Athens. If
I say so.
you sit there and let Ty Simpson throw it 40 times,
Yeah.
they're going to get hammered.
Yeah.
So if they don't find their way to run the ball, just like we got to find our way to throw the football, you better be able to be right-handed, left-handed, diversified, whatever you want to call it. That's the issue why we turned it over and why so many mistakes were made.
Yeah.
10th grade quarterback, not been in that situation, throwing a lot at him, you're experimenting. And when you're experimenting, you're going to make mistakes.
Correct.
But that's what you fix in practice. Some of those mistakes weren't fixed till yesterday afternoon.
Right. Well, one of the things that if you're an armchair quarterback, right, like we all are, all of us that are sitting out there, why are they making some?
Coaches out there,
That's true. That's true. But you got to tell them because they'll sit back and go, well, if they make this kind of mistakes, they make these kind of mistakes. There are certain games that you have to trial and error some of these schemes that you're trying to put in, right? So don't panic.
That's right.
Don't panic.
Don't panic. And I think we did panic other night.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a staff we panicked. I think we all panicked, and I think it carried over into the halftime a little bit. And so, but we got those things worked out. I mean, everything's good. We're all on the same page. I think as a staff now, we spend a lot of time with each other this weekend. Me and Alaric, and we sit down and watch a lot of college football together this weekend, and Teddy and Coach Albright and anybody else. We just hung out all weekend together from Friday night till Sunday. Then we met Sunday. So I think the issue there is that we all are trying to still figure one another out a little bit, and they're figuring out what I'm about. And the other thing, it's not fair to Larry either because I don't know that I've done a good enough job with him teaching him things that I want done. And a lot of that is I don't see him all day. I'm not used to not having my OC right next to me all day.
Yeah.
So we're in a small school. So he has to teach school. So I don't see him to 130 every day, 140 every day. And that's probably not fair to him, So he's trying to coordinate an offense with me, and I've done a poor job of teaching him or letting him be more involved in the script. But going forward, he is going to be involved with that, and he's going to feel more comfortable. And it's my job to make him more comfortable. And so where he feels confident in what he's doing and what I'm doing, because you know what the worst thing you do as a coach, you fall back with what you know.
Right.
You always go back to what you know until you learn the other. But Larry wants to learn. He really does want to learn. And let me tell you something about Larry Williams.
Yeah.
I am super, super, super impressed with him.
Yeah.
And I've told him 100 times. I said, Larry, I got a guy coaching in the SEC right now that was my receiver coach in Georgia, Colquitt, who's now the running back coach at an SEC school, and you're better than he is.
Wow.
And so, and Larry said, I want to coach college football. Son, $650,000 is a lot of money.
He could buy much tighter bridges.
Yes, he
could. Paint them on.
But I mean, whatever decision he makes, I'll support him.
Sure.
But he is for life with me. I mean, I think he's like a son to me now. I mean, I love him to death. Think the world of him. My goal in life is to continue to make him successful.
That's awesome.
And that's what I want him to do because I think that kid has got a lot of potential, but it takes a process. Is he ready to be a head coach? No. Is he ready to be really an offensive coordinator? Probably not. But he was thrust into that because of the situation, and he's adapted, and he's done the best he can. And like I told him, in the off season, he will be in my right pocket, and we will go and we will sit down and we will learn things together to make him a better coach. Wow. And I think that's what they all got to do. And so that's part of the growing of a football coach.
Sure.
And you have to be willing, and I hate to say it like this, but you have to be willing to spend weekends away from your family, and go and grind from say the first weekend in February till spring ball starts 1st of May, that you're going every weekend or every other weekend, you're spending time either during the week or on the weekend, you're going and sitting down in what they call the think tank of some of these guys that are brilliant people. They may be great high school coaches, they may be great college offense coordinators, whoever. You got to sit down and you have to gather all that information, bring it back to your hub, and then you start looking at all the video they give you, all the stuff, and you start putting a plan together what's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And because what's good for Ole Miss and Lane's offense may not be good. Some of this stuff may not be good at Coach because we don't have X, Y, Z. So that's how you do. That's what I've always done. As I've learned a lot of football over the years. One year, guys, I went 13 straight weekends. You can ask Steph. 13 straight weekends, starting the first weekend in February at the Glazner Clinic in Atlanta. It was like February 5th, 6th, 7th. This was probably 2004 or 5. We were getting ready to play Tim Tebow the next fall.
Mm-hmm.
We spent every weekend and sometime during the week, we were going somewhere to learn some things. Of all those 13 trips, we really added only 3 things to our offense. That was it. Because we were pretty good at that time.
Sure.
We were rolling, leading scorer in Alabama. But you know what? Those 3 things helped us beat Tebow and them. Something we had not showed, and they had not seen it, and we added it to our repertoire.
I remember the game.
And that's what we won. We didn't win. We had won a state title the year before.
Mm-hmm.
And to win 3 in a row, that 3 concepts were, one of them was from the 49ers, and the other 2 were from, well, one was from Dennis Erickson when he was a 49er, one was Norm Mazzoni when he was at North Carolina State, and I think the other one, I figured out, but those 3 concepts we had never run in our history of the offense. We added those things in the spring, summer, opened up in the fall, and I'll be dang if we didn't score 3 touchdowns on those 3 stuff.
That's
Our
crazy.
normal stuff, we couldn't move the ball the length of this room, but those other 3 things was very good. So I've been in those situations before, and I'm hoping that there's some things that Matt can, that can master down the road that can help us win big games.
Well, I remember Erickson. He kind of adapted some of Bill Walsh's stuff
He did.
and
No
kind of
doubt.
made his own thing. So last thing for this last game is it was the first time that Joseph has been asked to be that big a part of an offense.
First time he's been healthy.
I think the kid played tremendous.
He did. He's a tough cookie, and
There are people looking not to tackle him.
Right.
that's
Sure,
right.
sure.
And then when he got better this week in block protection, which he's such a great kid, man. This kid is such a wonderful child, and will do any. I mean, he'll just run off a cliff for you.
Yeah.
And his character is unbelievable, and so I'm very happy with him, and just got to continue to keep him well. And that ankle will be better this Friday than it was last Friday. And we still got some injured guys out there, that have still get treatment today. Really, the ones this week, Trayvon may not play this week. I just don't think he's ready to go. He's probably 50% at best. Chase, probably 70% probably. He probably shouldn't play a lot, but he will.
He's a dog.
Yeah, he just don't have any mobility, guys.
Yeah.
He is a liability in pass pro.
Yeah.
You have to worry about that. If somebody's right in front of him, it's not bad. But if he's got a reach block, down block, or pass pro, then he's a liability.
Yeah.
And that's because of the mobility of his ankle. Now his braces come in today.
Oh, good.
Actually here in about 15 minutes. So get them fitted. They're fitted. They're custom. So get him braced up, and hopefully that'll help a little bit. Kylan's probably 90. LJ's probably 90. Everybody else, I don't know anybody else I'm missing that goes to rehab. DL's just beat up a little bit. He's fine. Really, Trayvon and Chase are the 2.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 guys that are just, Trayvon's doubtful, and I would say Chase is questionable, but probable. I'd say he's probable.
Philip Franklin, I love that dude. He says he'd trade Zayden for Joseph, even trade any day of the week.
Zayden's a good football player, man.
Yes, he is.
I think his real positional next level, and what I'm trying to sell him to people is, I think he's an offensive center.
Yeah.
On that, he's not a tackle because on an island out there, you don't have the length.
Yeah.
So he's an inside interior guy, but first of all, he's highly intelligent.
From his mama.
Very highly intelligent. And secondly, he's either guard center, but he can play somewhere.
Well, someone made the comment that he is never dropped a high school pass. put him at receiver, coach. Of course, the number's just 1-for-1, but still, the fact is he's never dropped a pass.
Please don't tell him, man. I'll have to hear that for some money.
So here we go, another region game, 2-0 in the region against another 2-0 region and 2-0 team, Susan Moore. This is to take control of the Region 6, and it's going to be a good challenge. Again, I think Susan Moore is much improved from last year, and I think we're getting healthy, so it's going to be another good, hardcore, physical game Friday night.
Yeah, we think so. Really like their quarterback. He's a good-looking athlete, strong, physical, throwing a mile. They're, offensively, they're scoring a lot of points. So, we have to contain him. We have to make him uncomfortable. We cannot let him sit on his spot and get comfortable either throwing or running. If you take him away, you take 80% of their offense away. So they got a couple of linemen who come off the ball pretty good. They're the first offensive line I've seen since Pell City that even our peers that really just will fire off football when the ball snapped.
Yeah.
And I think that can present a problem to us if we're not thick, what I call thick in the box, and we're gap sound and gap and have gap integrity. Take away ABC gap and force them to have to balance. Because if you force them to spill it to the outside, they don't have the overall speed, I don't think, that we have. So that's an advantage. And then I think they'll take their shots over some of our guys. They'll try to get matchups and try to throw it over their head some because they've been able to do that a little bit. So, but Coach Patterson has done a good job. Comes from great stock. His daddy's one of the finest men I've ever known. Really good football coach. And I think and his son is following in the same footsteps. And so anyway, it'll be a battle. And like you said, it's a huge game because I think whoever wins this game gets control of the region.
Well, they're averaging over 30 points a game offensively, so they're putting some points on, and they've been in a couple of shootouts. So it looks like that they're giving up over 40 a game, but a couple of those games are just wild shootout games you get into occasionally. So they're a better defense than their average score indicates, in my opinion.
Yeah. They run. Anytime you play a team like this, we see a run of the mill type of defense that they run that's sort of old fashioned.
Yeah.
And so, how does it match up with modern day offenses is going to be the key in this game a little bit because I think that it's been a long time since I've seen a true 5-2. Just true 5-2. That's really what they are, true 5-2 defense. People have got away from that 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Well, they went into 3-4, 4-2 nickel,
the
all
old
like
Bears.
That. Yeah. So, and they're just a true 50 defense, and I think that I'm not saying they can't do other things. They do get some stack look, and I'm sure they can be multiple. But I think that's the thing. We've got to present them problems with some of the things we do and some of the things that they do. So we've got to get them out of their comfort zone of lining up, put 7 in a box.
Let's look at some of these comments. That homecoming week, that is always a thing for head coaches. You guys are, yes. Philip Franklin says number 34 moves and shifts on a hard count every time he comes to the line and doesn't put his hand down. So that bro's been watching some stuff, hasn't he?
A little bit in the film room.
The film room.
What's he doing? His wife told him what he was doing, Coach. Philip don't know.
Yeah, he has. His brother told him that.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, his brother told him that. So what are you looking to dominate, assert dominance in the first half of this game, the first quarter of this game?
Well, again, you gotta establish some things that you want to do, and you got to get your quarterback off to a good start, and I don't think we did that last week either, and that's my fault. So we just got to make some things easier for him, and then you got to be able to to give them some things that maybe they hadn't seen us do before. So again, I think it's all about making sure that we get better at some things we're not real good at right now. And number one, don't turn the ball over.
I can see where that would help.
I mean, that would help. No matter what you run when you fumble the ball. If you fumble the ball, whether you run a run play, pass play, or whatever, you can't turn the ball over. And, we just can't do that. And fumbles have been a little bit of a problem. So
I'm excited to see LJ get on track offensively.
Yeah, man, it'd be nice. He just had most of them. Him and Grayson both
Grayson,
dropped too many balls.
Yeah.
So we've worked them hard this week for that, and we did last week. That's the thing. Disappointing part is we threw 50 fade balls last week, and I was telling Mac Saturday. We were sitting there watching Georgia Tennessee game. At the end, it's 4th and 11. Game's over. Georgia goes to a fade ball to win the game.
Yeah.
And that pass couldn't have been thrown no better. And it was what they call true fade ball on his outside shoulder. The DB was right there, and had the inside. If the ball had been thrown to the inside, or maybe right over his right over his eyeball, right there, I think the DB could have gotten it. But when he faded away from the ball and caught it, the DB had no chance to get it. It was a pretty risky throw, or high. It's not a high percentage throw, but they made it. And I was telling, we threw a lot of those balls in practice, and we just still, as of last Friday night, had not got our timing down. You should be able to run a fade ball, especially into the boundary. And we should throw that ball 22 to 27 yards downfield, somewhere within that 5-yard window, no more than 27, no less than 22, into the boundary, and we should drop that in the bucket, and he'd catch it in full stride. And if he's not in full stride, you catch it over his left shoulder if we're going left, right shoulder going right, and tap either out of bounds or tap touchdown. So we've got to can't let people sit out there with lesser athletes than Grayson and LJ. They have a lesser athlete. They have no back help. They're playing straight man to man. You have to be able to throw that ball and complete that ball. And if they back up off of them, you got to be able to bang them out there and throw the ball right to them and make them make a move and get 10 yards. That's simple football.
It's coming, Coach.
It's got that. We have to get better at that.
But here's what I know, Coach. I don't care what the offense is. The tight end's always open.
Yeah.
Throw it to the tight end, Coach. He's always open.
We tried him, but went through a pig.
Well, let's just skip that one and just say we'll skip that one.
That's really the bad throw he made. I mean, he missed on some things. We dropped some balls, but I think the goal for him is to let him lead the game at 65 to 70% completion rate, and then we got to be able to run some things, in the run game that maybe we've not run a lot that can really benefit us and really help our offensive line and some run scheme stuff that we really like too. So we've got a good plan going forward. It's just we got to execute.
Heck yeah! All right, I'm for it. And great atmosphere.
Great atmosphere. I thought last week was good, and I think that I know our gate receipts have been better than I was told that they were in the past. Just looking at last couple of years, I think we're making a little bit of money. And I think our concession stand and Deanna's doing a good job of that. And I think that parking people, I appreciate them getting out there and gathering that money. And our gate receipt was good. And so we got a chance. We're only 2 weeks into home games, and with 3 more home games at least, we got a chance to maybe pay some bills.
If we could get Jason Allen to do anything,
yes,
that would help. Just saying.
Just drop $100,000.
That would help.
Just drop $100,000.
So he skips one vacation this year.
Yeah,
okay.
or 2. I'm just kidding.
Thank you to our sponsor. I'm not. Anytime I can just jab Jason, I'm going to jab him, Coach.
Okay.
Jason's
been good to me though. He's and I enjoyed going to church there. I enjoyed the atmosphere. To me has been really good for Rush Propst and his family.
Good.
And I think that we're excited to be a part of that family. And we've met some good people in the church, and it gives you purpose. To get up on Sunday morning and go when you go somewhere that you feel welcomed and wanted, and it's been a blessing to me and my family, and all of our kids have talked about it. So, as you know, I got a big family.
I saw your oldest son.
Jacob was there, and he's 34, and he has 2 girls that are 5 and will be 3 next month. And so then my 33-year-old is at Fort Benning for a month, and some type of office training deal. He's doing that for a month, so he'll be at the game Friday night.
Good.
Brian, and then of course Thomas, 21, and he and his. You've got my young grandson, be 6 months next month or
Right about that.
next week. We're
Yeah.
excited about him, and then, of course John David sort of helps on the staff.
Never met him.
Yeah, and then my daughter just found out today, Mary Catherine, she's moving to Jack State. She finally found him a house.
Heck yeah.
She got into a sorority, and
Good for her.
so excited about her. My two older daughters, I don't know if you met Leanne or Taylor, but
Yeah.
30 and 28, and one lives in Atlanta, one lives in Denver. So we don't get to see them a lot, but
Yeah.
they trust me, they stay in touch.
Well, let's get that oldest boy Akusa shirt, get him out of that Pell City.
I know, I
Skip
saw
say,
that. I saw that.
Some
And
cool
just
pictures
don't wear
like
black.
What's
son.
that? It was
Yeah.
so funny. Again, anything in closing, Coach, before we get out of here?
No, just appreciate everything.
Heck yeah.
Feel blessed to be here. Feel blessed to have the opportunity to coach these kids and coach at this school, and look forward to having a lot of success in November.
Lastly, I'm sorry, I keep dragging on, but I would be remiss if we didn't bring on Coach Crane and the boys went over to the South Side yesterday.
Yes,
Didn't win a game, had 10 kids, and was, 6-0 going to the fourth quarter.
Really?
yes,
That's impressive.
played hard.
That's
I
impressive.
thought they played hard, and we talked about that, because we just didn't have enough players. I mean, our seventh, eighth, and ninth grade, we only have like 12 kids. I think one's hurt. I think next week we'll have 12, maybe 13 that can go. But in seventh, eighth, and ninth grade, we only have 13 football players, and so
That'll change.
that's got to change. And
It'll
then
change.
10th, 11th, 12th, you got about 13 coming back. So we're in a critical stage right now that we've got to get a lot of players. We've got to move
Yeah.
in here. We've got to have probably 20 to 25, at least 10 to 12 for a varsity team
Yeah.
to go with what we got coming back. But then you got to have a junior high team. You got to add to it to have a junior high team.
So are you looking for a good Christian school?
Go.
Call Julie Dell.
Yes.
Schedule that today. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank
sir.
y'all.
This